Brexit. Let's talk to Rod McKenzie. He's Managing Director of Policy at the Road Haulage Association and joins us now. Good morning to you, Rod.
Good morning, Jim.
Good morning. So is your big fear right now that we don't get a deal, or that we get a deal that doesn't actually allow for, what sort of haulage we do have between let's face it, mostly Britain and France at the moment? What's your big concern?
Well, I think deal or no deal, it actually doesn't make all that much difference to the paperwork that traders and hauliers will have to fill in and what they'll have to do. Obviously, if there is a deal, it means no tariffs, no quotas, but there's still an awful lot of paperwork to do for everyone, deal or no deal. So in that sense, we're facing a big challenge and there's not much time to go.
And has the government given enough help? Because the concern here is that so all the arguing and the toing and froing and debating over the last few years has actually meant that there hasn't been much actual proper preparation. And we were told, weren't we, we had to know what was going on by June, then we had to know by October. Here we are, mid-December, we still don't know what's happening. Very little time for people to prepare and to know what sort of paperwork they will need.
Well, the feedback we've had from traders and hauliers is the same, which is that the government has not been clear in their instructions about how you have to do the things you have to do in January. In put it very simple terms, they've told us what we have to do, but not how to do it. And if you try and follow the process through from A to Z, there are bits missing. And with 3 weeks to go, that isn't a pretty situation. And there's an awful lot of frustration out there amongst traders, international traders, about this sort of lack of clarity, this lack of information, which I think has been governed by, the politics, the negotiations and all sorts of other things. And that happens, and we all know that. But it is unfortunate that traders are left, as it were, at the sharp end.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? There has been some talk that we'll see road hauliers just say, just avoid Britain. It's not going to be worth their while. They don't want to be caught for 3 days, particularly if they've got perishable goods in their lorries, stuck in a lorry park in any direction. Not worth their while. They'll just avoid those trips. The companies will avoid those trips. Is that likely?
Yeah, anecdotally, we're hearing quite a lot of that, both from European hauliers who are certainly thinking, well, do we want to do this in January? Why don't we wait till February, March, whatever, when things have settled down and maybe we'll restart then? So there's a lot of avoidance of the UK in January from the European side. From the British side, similar. It's a really difficult situation because if your business is based on trade with a continent, you clearly don't want to pull out of that. Equally, you don't want your lorry, which is carrying your precious goods, diverted to some remote lorry park in Warrington or north of Birmingham for several days while your whatever it is potentially rotting. So there's a lot of caution, a lot of anxiety. This is a very tough Christmas for traders.
What would you most want to hear? Boris Johnson heads off to Brussels Wednesday or Thursday. And when he comes home, he's got a piece of paper in his hand as he gets off that plane. Remember those echoes? What do you most want to hear?
Well, a deal, I think, would be good for everyone. But more than that, we need a bit more of what we call easements, which is basically a little bit more tolerance at the border by both the French authorities and the British authorities. We've already said we're going to have easements until July. But, that sense that we aren't going to be policed in some really fierce horrible way in that lorries are going to be pulled over and stopped and fined and, their cargo's impounded. That isn't good. And easements, which would avoid that, just tolerance, if you like, from the authorities, would be very, very helpful for businesses on both sides of the channel.
All right. Well, thank you very much indeed, Rod McKenzie there, Managing Director of Policy at Road Haulage Association.